We humans are very inquisitive, just like adventure species, and movement is one of those characteristics that makes us feel happy. Hence, freedom is our fundamental human right, and we are not very good at staying in one place. We love traveling across the continents in ships, airplanes, and now it's time we travel in rockets, because we are constantly in search of the next escalated journey, and over the past 100 years we've gone to extreme and incredible places, like the South Pole of the world, the bottom of the ocean in submarine, flying through the air in airplanes. But another great journey we are now curious to go is Mars. From history, it's no surprise that Star Trek was the first science fiction to take over the mainstream consciousness. In the 60s, a crew of brave space adventurers traveled in an amazing spaceship that allowed them to boldly go where no one had been before. So, this is not the first time humans will want to go behind planet Earth, but this time around, we want to do it over and over again. However, we are yet to get there, but SpaceX and Elon Musk has assured us that we won't only dwell on Earth, but one day, we humans will take over Mars, we'll live on Mars like our second home, and develop it like a computerized world, operated with the full power of technology. We are not quite there yet, but SpaceX and Elon does have a plan. How is SpaceX going to land humans on Mars? What is the journey going to be like? Let's explore it all in today's video. You want to wake up in the morning and think the future is going to be great, and that's what being a spacefaring civilization is all about. It's about believing in the future and thinking that the future will be better than the past. And I can't think of anything more exciting than going out there and being among the stars. This is Elon's speech to ignite our belief that one day we humans will own Mars. In 2016, the SpaceX founder revealed his lofty plan to establish a metropolis on Mars. At the time, Musk hoped for a crewed travel to our neighboring planet as soon as 2024. Since then, the company has made major progress in manufacturing its Mars rocket, but not quickly enough to meet the original deadline. Elon Musk said on Twitter that he now believes humans will first set foot on Mars in 2029. That would mark the 60th anniversary of the first lunar landing in 1969. Naturally, traveling to Mars requires preparation. Mars and Earth move farther away from one another and then closer to one another as they orbit the Sun. It is necessary to launch within specific periods in order to take advantage of the times when the distance between the two planets is the least. The ideal Mars launch windows for this decade are later this year, late 2024, late 2026, and late 2028, early 2029. It appears that Musk's initial goals may have been unduly ambitious. If his goal date moves into the 2030s, it will be closer to the time frame that NASA has historically set for launching the first men to Mars. SpaceX will take humans to Mars through 4 critical phases. In Phase 1, Starship will launch with Super Heavy booster from Starbase, and the booster will detach itself from the ship after delivering it to orbit and returns back to Earth and submerge itself in between the chopstick arms, where it will be caught in the mid-air and be prepared for future reuse. At Phase 2, Starship will enter the Earth's orbit while the refilling tanker launches to meet with the ship in orbit. It will use the tanker vehicle to refill the Starship in orbit before speeding to Mars. This refilling process will enable the transportation of 100 tons of weight all the way to Mars. After the tanker has refilled the Starship, it will find its way back to Earth and get prepared for another similar journey. The Starship, on the other hand, continues to journey beyond the lower Earth orbit to Mars, and at Phase 4, Starship will enter the Mars atmosphere at 7.5 kilometers per second and decelerate aerodynamically. Now the heat shield will do the most incredible job by protecting the Starship body from the high heat that will produce flames to burn around it during re-entry. Now, humans will successfully land on Mars, but what's next after that? The first humans that will be landing on Mars will first start extracting more organic samples from the red planet. Studies from these samples will determine how to carry out structural construction on Mars. The first things are to know the geological composition of the Martian soil. Hence, more of what will be done is to examine the rigidity of the Martian soil before making a decision to deploy construction equipment like crane, bulldozers, excavators, and the land tools that will begin the construction of enclosed cabinets to protect humans from toxic radiations on Mars. It's also very important to know that Mars's atmosphere is primarily made up of carbon dioxide. It is non-existent. There isn't much to work with because of the atmospheric gas on Mars. In addition, there is little to no oxygen humans can breathe on, and there is also nothing to shield you from the cosmic radiation in the Martian atmosphere, just like it is in the Earth's atmosphere, that preserves our lives from the sun's intense radiation, and from some space radioactive wave which is proven risky to our health, because the Earth's atmosphere can block away all the harmful radiation that would kill us. Since the Mars atmosphere is much thinner than that of Earth and has a gravitational attraction that is only approximately 1/3 as strong. Humans would be greatly weakened if exposed to Mars' gravity, which is also smaller than that of Earth. There are also these huge dust storms that may cover the entire Mars after some while, and the dust occurrence is always frequent. The atmosphere of Mars is less than that of Earth, thus even in a fierce high dust storm, the wind would only be blowing at roughly 60 kilometers per hour. Dust will be a serious concern on Mars in so many ways. Our equipment must be securely sealed to prevent dust from seeping inside and damaging things. It would also be a big task to keep the solar panels clean in the Martian dust environment. In general, the dust storms will make our stay on Mars such an inconvenient one. But why Mars? Why has SpaceX and Elon Musk chosen to send humans to Mars? The quick answer is Mars is one of Earth's nearest livable neighbors, lying an average of 140 million miles away. Mars still receives a good amount of sunlight because it is only halfway as far from the sun as Earth. Although it's chilly, but we can make it warmer because Mars' atmosphere mostly consists of most carbon dioxide, with traces of nitrogen, argon, and other elements. We may grow plants there by simply compressing the gas and convert them to fertilizers. Since Mars' gravity is just around 38% that of Earth's, you could carry big objects and move quickly. When the colonizing phase begins, SpaceX plans to launch an average of 3 Starships launches per day to accomplish the goal of transporting 1 million passengers to Mars by 2050. SpaceX initially has a plan to maintain a fleet of 1,000 Starships actively traveling to Mars every year, and that will also involve transporting at least 100 megatons of stuff to Mars. With each ship carrying about 100 passengers, that will make total colonization of about 100,000 people taking over Mars per year. SpaceX proposed they will start building a high-capacity transportation infrastructure, which will involve transporting material and equipment to Mars and lay the Martian ground for a sustainable outpost, and also develop the rapid turnaround landing mounts for Starship to land and launch from. After that, SpaceX will set up refining systems and stations for local production of rocket fuel on Mars. The collection process, storing of useful material found on Mars, will be done using abundant resource on Mars like frozen water and other necessary minerals that will be useful for a better industrialization on Mars. After SpaceX has successfully established a permanent and sustainable presence on Mars, the Mars colonization phase will begin. This involves hundreds and thousands of people, including children and families, moving to the Red Planet to set up habitation and exploit Mars' natural resources. And at this time, humans will achieve their goal of becoming a multiplanar species. Elon Musk has already proposed that there will be no strict policies or governance on Mars that will restrain people's freedom, but surely Mars will have its cryptocurrency like the Dogecoin. All these will happen because one man known as Elon Musk has an insane plan to colonize Mars and fight to make it our reality. Will you want to travel to Mars someday? In the meanwhile, Musk is getting everything ready, even just got FAA license to release first orbital flight. Click on the video to know more and maybe find out when you could get your tickets to Mars.